What's up, Internet? Big J with Big J's Extreme Fitness. Here with my man Chad Lemons, aka Mr. Drive. We just crushed an intense workout. We're hitting some post-workout shakes, and I want to talk to you guys about one of my favorite intense motivational clothing lines and bad boy on the streets, Mr. Drive. Man, he's got a clothing line. It's very motivational. It's intense. It's all about what I'm about, and I want to know.
It's different too. Yeah, it's different than a lot of the other
It's
clothing
definitely
lines.
different. I mean, you got tank tops, you got three-quarter sleeve shirts, you got regular t-shirts, but it's innovative. Tell us why it's innovative.
I mean, we have obviously all the clothes that any clothing line is going to have: tank tops, raglans, sweatshirts, hats, all that stuff. But I feel like, you know, ours is very, very different compared to, at least in the fitness world.
And
it's
I know
way
that.
Different.
I know that, but why do you think it's very different?
Well, I think this, honestly, is our designs are way different, and we don't really put gym quotes on our stuff. We don't put barbells and stuff like that, you know? So you really wouldn't think that it's a fitness clothing line. But the reason why it is a fitness clothing line is because we cater a lot in the fitness world because that's my drive. You know, the name of the line is The Drive, and you know, that's my drive in life is I love working out, I love competing, I love working out.
Before we get into the design of your clothes, does the Drive have anything to do with you and your clothing line?
I wouldn't know. I mean, the Drive is really for everybody. It's just everybody has that inner drive in them. And you know, we do the skull thing because everybody has a skull, and everybody has the drive. It's whether you use it or not. You have to use your mind in life, and you got to use your drive in life. You know, the Drive isn't like just like when you're wearing the Drive, you're not wearing. You are wearing Chad Lemons, obviously, because it is my company. You know what I mean? I represent my company. But at the same time, the Drive it's just for everybody in general. So, but at the same time, there is people out there that wear the Drive because of me, because they're motivated off me. It's kind of turned that way. It wasn't when I started the company, I didn't start it to, oh, I'm gonna come out with the clothing line and put my name all over the clothing line. Like, that's not what it was for. It was meant to motivate people, inspire people, to where they can look down at it and say, fuck yeah, dude, this is gonna push me on the next set. Because you know it actually came from my tattoo, right?
No.
Okay, so yeah. So, okay, here's the story. Okay, the whole story and the point of the Drive is I used to compete in bodybuilding, right? I've done like 5 shows. The last show I did was in 2011. And, you know, I'm into tattoos, obviously. And I just wanted to sleeve out my arm. You know, I kept adding more and more tattoos after my last show. And I wanted something that I could look down at and push myself in the gym every day to go into that next set. Because I was training for Junior USA's, actually, during, you know, when after my last show. So, you know, I wanted some inspiration on me. So I was trying to think of what could I put on me. I didn't want to put like determined or just any of these other motivational words. Like, okay, that's just a typical word that anybody would use. You know what I mean? So I wanted something different. And I always heard people saying the drive. Like, man, what gives you that drive in life to keep going? And actually, I used to hear it a lot with bodybuilders. Like Sean Ray would interview people saying that. Flex
Sean Ray. This guy's old school. I
haven't
heard that name in a long time.
Yeah, I like the old school. You know, like Flex Wheeler would always say it in his interviews. And then like I hear it a lot on ESPN. They would even ask people. I was like, man, that's fucking cool. And actually, Dorian Yates would say it all the time. Drive it. So I was like, damn, dude, that's a fucking cool word. And I doubt anybody else has that tattooed on them. Like, what are the odds of somebody else having that tattooed? So I went into my tattoo parlor and told my guy, I was like, dude, bro, I want the Drive tattooed right fucking there in my forearm. And he was like,
so this is before your clothing line.
This was way, but this was like
get a close up of this.
Yeah,
this is awesome. Yeah,
this was like early 2011. You know, when I got this tattoo. This was probably April in 2011 when I got the tattoo. And again, I had any idea that I was going to start a clothing line. It wasn't even a thought. It wasn't even a speck of a thought in my mind until one day my boy came over and he said, dude, what does that say on your arm? And he said, I said, the Drive. And I was like, wow, dude, that's fucking cool. That would be a cool clothing line. And I go, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. You know, that, okay, I don't even know what you're talking about. Well, no, I was just like, well, what the fuck is that, dude? Like, I don't even know what you're talking. I don't even know how I would even start something like that. And then keep in mind, this was in 2011. This was before Instagram and all these other clothing lines and stuff probably popping up. So I said, okay, and I always wanted to start a business because I was an independent personal trainer, like a lot of people. And I was basically my own person, but I was a contractor kind of out of a gym. And I was like, I want to stay in the fitness world, but I want to make money doing this. I was like, wow, I could probably make money and do something I love to do. So that I started, and then my clients actually would say like, dude, that's a cool fucking tattoo. Dude, you should put that on a shirt. And I had a couple people say that, and I was like, man, maybe I should. You know, because at the time, like we were talking about earlier, there wasn't a lot of clothing lines.
Yeah.
At least because I didn't get on social media. Like back then, MySpace was kind of cool.
Yeah, there was
Facebook
only 2 or 3 big clothing lines that were out there.
Yeah.
And you guys know what I'm talking about, but that was it. There wasn't like all these YouTubers with clothing lines. There wasn't all these Instagram. What even Instagram?
And then at the local bodybuilding shows here in Texas, there was only a couple lines.
Yeah, you'd have a ticket booth, and you have some posing trunks, and you have somebody selling protein bars, and then a T-shirt of the contest, and that was it.
And that was it. There was nothing else. And but I used to go to the shows. I'd always buy the contest shirt. I'd always buy and support the other 2 main lines that were at the time. And so anyways, I said, man, that's what I'm gonna do, dude. I'm gonna start a fucking clothing line, and I'm gonna travel around Texas and start set up booths. And I was the only one there because the other lines fell off, and I was the only one in 2012 all the way up until I say 2014. Or to the end of 2014, there was no clothing lines. Like we were the only one, at least here in Texas.
Right.
And and then social media started coming, it started becoming big. But again, at that time, it was a great idea to start a clothing line because nobody was really doing it.
Quick question. Do you think that the social media has propulsed you forward or pulled you down?
I think at first it did help me a lot.
Right.
I think at first it did help. I think it helped the drive a lot. As time has gone on, social media now has made people insta famous now.
Right.
You know what I mean? And at first, some people can look at that as like, oh, that's stupid, that's dumb, but it's not dumb because there's a lot of people out there that need motivation, they need that drive. Because again, like we said, we all have that drive. Sometimes somebody needs to hear somebody say, dude, you have drive, you know that, right? So pull that shit out, dude, and fucking use it in life, man. Dude, make something of yourself, dude. You have it in you. You could be whatever the fuck you want to be. You know what I mean? And but as far as
especially nowadays
because so many people are just they don't think clear, and that's sometimes I like social media and sometimes I don't like it.
I'm the same.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's like up and down, but social media has turned more of Mr. Drive now. You know what I mean? Like people are buying now me, and I love that. I think it's awesome that people do it, but I don't want people to get sidetracked that, dude, when you buy the drive, you're buying the drive for you.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
This isn't
that's
like
something people need to know.
Exactly.
Same thing. I started my gym 23 years ago, and I had Big J's Extreme Fitness shirts, and this and that and the other fitness club, etc. And I wanted to see my shirts with my name everywhere. But lately, and 20-something years later, which is 2 decades later, I'm seeing and hearing this like. You don't want your name out there. You want your brand out there. Right. You want your brand to be something that represents every single person. You don't want just one person, hey, I'm a Big J Fitness fan.
Exactly.
No, you're a fitness fan. You're a people, you're a group person. You're somebody that can help
I'm a fan of the brand. I'm the whole concept behind it and the meaning behind it.
Right.
And that's where, I feel like the drive at least is special because there's so much meaning behind it, because the fact that it started from a tattoo that was not meant for anything. It wasn't meant for a clothing line. It was just meant for a single person, for me, but I wanted to inspire and push other people because like I said, I was a personal trainer. That's what I did. Any personal trainer is a motivator. Right. I don't care, every single trainer, if you work at Gold's, I'm getting bit by ants. If you work at Gold's, you work at 24 Hour Fitness, any of those big major corporation gyms, you have to have respect for all those trainers because they are motivating, they are pushing people. You know what I mean? And so like I just feel like, that's what the drive, that's what the whole point in the drive,
motivating the masses.
Exactly.
So obviously we're standing up now. The log had ants biting all over our asses and legs.
Dude, I feel like I'm still getting bit.
So next question, I know you guys want to hear this. Chad's a big dude, okay? He looks like he's 300 pounds. He lied to me today, said he was 250.
I'm 250.
I still want to get a scale and put him on it.
250.
250. But this guy used to compete in bodybuilding, as he said previously. What was and I don't want to talk about your titles or the ones that you won or if you did well or didn't do well. I want to know why you did it. Why did you get into bodybuilding? When you were younger, did you look up to guys? Did you train? Were you already strong?
Well, why I started working out, period, was South Padre, 2000,
this is going to be good.
Probably 2013, 14, something like that. I don't know, I was 20 years old. Went to Padre Island, South Padre, spring break. Small, like 167 pounds, nothing. String being, all my friends were. And we saw these dudes on the beach, fucking swollen, jacked and shit. And we're like, and there's tons of chicks around. And I was like, look, man, what's up with all these guys? Why do they have all these girls? And I said, I was like, dude, I want that.
Yeah.
And my boys were like, dude, we got to start working out.
Yeah.
I was like, well, fuck. As soon as we get back home, we're starting to work out.
Yeah, after we drink this beer.
After we drink this beer, though, of course. So we came back. Of course, it took about 4 months because it was just, you know, it's all talk at first.
Right.
And then finally you get into it, and I said, when I come back to spring break, I'm going to be fucking huge, and I'm going to have girls around me.
Yeah.
So 1 year, almost a year later, boom, I threw on shit, like, I went from 167 to maybe 220. Not shredded, but I was so skinny, my metabolism was so fast, so I looked good. So
Have you not ever worked out before that?
Never worked. Well, no, I played football. I played a little bit of football days.
Stuff.
Yeah. I played a little bit. I wasn't like some superstar or anything like that. But so I got into, so I did that, and we went to Padre, and I liked all the attention. So I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this shit, dude. I'm getting fucking
at 220.
At 220, I'm getting attention, but not like a solid, just like a first kid working out, you know, also just blows up.
And you're 21 years old.
Yeah, I'm 21 now.
Okay.
And then so I got into working out, kept going working out, and I got actually into the strongman stuff like we were talking about earlier with Mike Kaiser and stuff like that. Like I like people like that.
Right.
Marcus Pujanowski, even though he was shredded, strongman, he was a freak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like all the other guys I liked, you know what I mean? I was just big, like.
So world's strongest man.
World's strongest man. That's what I wanted to be.
Okay.
So anyways, I slowly got up to that, and I was eating all the fucking calories, eating everything inside, and I got big, and then I realized, I was like, man, this is unhealthy.
When you say big, how big did you
I got it to like 310. Yeah. I went from 167 to 310 by the time I was 23 years old, so in 3 years, I went from 167 to 310.
Yeah, just a quick note, guys and gals, that's not healthy.
No.
It's a little bit too fast.
No, that's extremely unhealthy, and I wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
Right.
And like I said, I was doing a lot of stuff to get to that. You know what I mean? Obviously. So anyways, I got to that, and then I was just like, man, I had a lot of people like scared. All right, Chad, you know, you got way too big too fast. Yeah. Like, be careful. And I said, okay, you know, I realized, especially after my dad told me, that's when I really realized.
And do you really care at that point, at that age?
No, you're just you don't give a fuck. You're like, I'm young, I don't give a fuck.
Right.
I want to be big. I look at these guys on TV, these world strongmen. I want to be fucking. That's what I want.
And what we didn't realize when we were that age is those guys have been doing it for 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah, I wanted it
old
now.
Muscle, and you want it now.
Yeah, you don't want it
now. Yeah.
And then so, and then I realized I needed to get lean down.
Sure.
And I was actually getting married, and you know, obviously that didn't work out, but. And I wanted to lean down for my wedding. I wanted to look good. Okay. You know what I mean? So
you're still 300 and some pounds.
This was like I was about 310, yeah, basically.
At 23, 24 years old.
Yeah, and I got down to for my wedding. I mean, honestly, I don't remember the years and stuff like that. I'm not gonna sit there and try to think about all of it, but you know, I got in shape. I got down with abs. I don't know, maybe I was 220 or something. I lost a lot of weight too. Yeah. My body's weird. It's
something
not.
I want to interject here. You were 220, sort of looked like you were, you know, a fresh into the gym newbie guy.
Yeah.
Went a year to 2 years, 300 pounds, okay, and then came back down, but you looked really good.
At 220.
But you look good.
But I looked good.
So there's some muscle maturity coming on after 2 years of hardcore training.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then so I did that, and then I still, and now I know people are thinking, oh, this is when he got into bodybuilding. No, actually. I was still trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my life. I actually went into the fire academy.
Oh,
and
something I didn't know.
Exactly, and I went to the fire academy, and I was probably sitting around the fire academy about 280. I blew back up.
Yeah.
You know, but I was eating a little more cleaner, and I was a decent 280. I still wasn't like solid 280, but I was a decent 280.
So you did this because you figured out, okay, I don't want to die. I'm not, you know, getting into this to get so big that I fall over from a heart attack one day. But what?
No, honestly, I really didn't give a fuck about that.
Okay, still didn't.
I still didn't care at that time. I just did it because I wanted abs.
Okay, but now you did it because you wanted abs.
Just wanted abs.
But how did you figure that out? Did you start dieting a little bit?
After a lot of people had told me, I guess you could say I did worry about my health. Okay. I did, but it was like I worried about it, but then I did it. I just wanted abs. I just wanted abs.
Okay, and then how did you get there? Did you start watching?
Cardio. Okay. And I honestly, dude, I think I just ate like a lot of fish and egg whites and broccoli. But I wasn't doing like fasted cardio. I didn't know anything about fasted cardio. I would do like evening cardio, and then I'd go sit in the sauna for like 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Thinking that I was like, I'm gonna get lean just sitting in the sauna. Like this is really what I thought.
Getting rid of water.
Yeah, just getting rid of water, you know. And then I obviously look good after you get out of the sauna, you know. And
down to 220.
Yeah, I was down to 220, and then I got back up to probably about 280.
Fire Academy.
Fire Academy. I was in the Fire Academy. I did that was like a year-long academy. Graduated from the Fire Academy. then you had to go to EMT.
Sure.
Okay, so you got to have your fire certificate, and then you got to have your TNT. The EMT bored me to death. It was way too much classroom, and it grossed me out with all the blood and stuff like that. I was kind of like, but that's when I got into bodybuilding.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, dude, I think I want to compete, because a lot of people then started saying you should compete. If you would just lean down, man, you would look good. So I got into bodybuilding, and this is what I really try to preach to people. Do not let prepping control your life, because at that time, I was letting competing control everything around me. I'm not gonna lie, it ruined my marriage. It really did. Like, looking back, it ruined my marriage. It made me quit being out of the EMT, because all I cared about was when I'm gonna get my next meal in and when I'm gonna work out. And then I was sleeping in class. I was passing, but my teacher didn't like it, and my teacher ended up kicking me out of the EMT school, because she's like, you know what, you're not focused, all you care about is your bodybuilding and stuff.
Right.
But at that time I didn't care. I was so passionate about that. It's all I cared about.
Right.
You know?
I've always said that lifting is a luxury.
Exactly. It's a hobby, man.
It's a hobby.
It's
not putting food on the table,
not putting
unless
food
you're like the top 2% in the world.
And it wasn't putting food. I wasn't getting paid to work out. I just did it, and I didn't care. I didn't care about anything else.
And there's a way to approach that. You can focus on getting your body right. You can focus on meal
and
prepping.
still make money.
And still make
But
money.
I was being the lazy side of it.
By not quitting your job.
Exactly.
By focusing on your job. By the grind, meaning what you punch in the clock, how you get paid, how you provide for your family, you pay your taxes, you take care of your house, etc.
And there's a lot of people, though, out there that do only worry about working out. They don't worry about work anymore. And that's why there's so many lazy people out there, because all they care about is their workouts, and that's it. And they lose focus on how to make money and be successful in life, too, at the same time.
True inspirational words.
Yeah. So,
Damn.
so we did. So anyway, so I did all that. I got into the whole, bodybuilding scene. Got into that, and then, like I said in the interview before, that's when I did the competing. I did that for 5 years. I took it over. I went into personal training. I forgot about the fire academy. I forgot about the EMT. I was like, you know what, it's not for me. I did the academy. It's cool and all, but that's just not my thing. I don't want to do it. It's just not something I don't want to do for me.
In the mass, it doesn't fit the beard.
It doesn't fit the beard either. So it's like, I can't have a beard. I'm making you shave every day. I was like, dude, I don't like this. This is not working out. There's blood. There's all this stuff. There's no fire. You're barely in any fires anyways. Nowadays, there's not enough fires. And the buildings are built a lot better now. So anyway, so I went into the bodybuilding, and then, like I said, I started the clothing line, because I wanted to stay. How can I stay making money in the fitness industry? And then I got into clothing.
Bingo. You got your passion. You figured out that your bodybuilding was a luxury and a hobby and a pastime, but you utilize your pastime to propulse your business into the future. Now, which leads me to the next question.
I wouldn't change it for anything, though, because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be where I'm here today. I wouldn't have my own company. I wouldn't still just be doing what I want to do. I would have been listening to still everybody else. So, like, it was a bad thing, but then it was also a good thing, for me at least. But a lot of people keep staying down that path of letting the competition and the competing control their whole entire life and never really end up going anywhere. But luckily for social media now, you're able to stick to your passion and make money through it too.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of monetization.
There's tons of ways. There's so much opportunity now with social media.
Yeah, back when, and I don't want to get on me, but I want to tell you, back when I started my gym 20 plus years ago, all we relied on was newspapers that were, anywhere from $5 to $500 an ad. Yellow pages, again, $5 to $500 an ad, just depending on if you wanted one line that you couldn't read, or a page, or a half
going
page,
in a magazine, but that's tough.
Magazine, thousands of dollars, television shows, flyers that you would hand out, put on cars.
Yeah, word of mouth. It was true hustle back then.
Hustle, word of mouth.
Yeah.
Now, and that reached maybe. You would be lucky if 200 to 500 people saw thousands of dollars you put in. Now all you have to do is snap a picture, edit it a little bit, put some words, and you're reaching 50,000.
Exactly. But
you're not going to reach 50,000 for sales.
No.
If you can reach 1 to 5% of those people's sales, bam, go.
Yeah. And I don't think it's like, I know some people look at it as like, oh, nowadays these kids have it easy. No, it's not true, because if that was the case, then why isn't everybody on social media starting a business?
Right.
Because it's not easy. Because there's a lot of people that do start a business on social media and never end up making a living from it. So, like,
I've been guilty of saying that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I've been guilty of saying that.
And then you do have to look at that as like, you might, again, like we were talking about like earlier today, you might not be the biggest name, but at least you're doing something that you're passionate about and you're making a living from it.
That's
and
right.
you should never take that for granted. Right. Because it's like, dude, you live a different life than a lot of other people, and a lot of people out there wish they could do what you do.
Yeah. Instead of stamping a 9 to 5,
yeah,
you're
but there's nothing wrong
with being broke.
And there's nothing wrong with a person that works 9 to 5.
That's
because
right.
you need soldiers though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you do need soldiers, and those people, I fucking appreciate people that work 9 to 5 because that shit is fucking hard.
Right. Well, people that work for you work 9 to 5.
Exactly.
Printing your shirts, delivering, packing, shipping.
So like without those people, you don't have it in a company.
Absolutely. And the 9 to 5 is what buys your product.
Exactly. Those are your customers. Those are your fans. Those are your followers. Those are the people I support. I look up to those people every day. Right. Those are the people that push me. Like when I'm down and I get a message from somebody, dude, I needed to hear those words today, man. That just like made me make a decision that I've been holding back on.
You just posted that on your Instagram.
Yeah,
I read that.
Exactly. And then that right there, when you read that type of stuff, you're like, damn, dude, fuck yeah. And then you realize how badass your life is too. And then you realize like how much of an impact you're having on people. Even if you only impact one person a day, fuck it, dude, you just changed somebody's fucking life. Right. You know, and that's fucking cool to me, you know?
Absolutely. If you're in it for the right reasons to help, because you can't change the world. There's no way. You cannot take over the world. Anybody that's tried has failed miserably.
And you can really only change the people that relate to you.
Well, you need to make sure that you change yourself first, and you're happy with yourself, and you're passionate about what you're delivering to the public or to your friends, and then you have a ripple effect. Okay, you change him and her and that person, and then they see that and they forward it.
Exactly.
Paying it forward.
Exactly.
Of continual change. That's why I've started so many events around the area to bring people together that have the same passion.
Yeah. And that's why I'm pumped about the VidCon.
VidCon's gonna be off
just throwing there a little.
Yeah, little pump.
Yeah, right there.
And that's what VidCon's for, man. To bring the social mediators together that have an outreach of fitness. I mean, there's gonna be different types of fitness.
And at the show, I really feel like if anybody's whoever's listening to this, if you live in Dallas or you live in Texas, or hell, if you even live outside of Texas, if you feel like you can make it. What's the date again? I'm so bad with that.
May 19th,
May 19th,
21st.
Dude, it is something that I highly recommend going to, but don't go to these people to their booth and just be like, oh, I'm a fan, and get their autographs. Dude, actually sit down and I know they can't talk to everybody. It's just like, I can't talk to everybody. Obviously, I can talk to people a little bit longer, I'm not as popular, but these other people that are very, very big in the social media world, ask them how they got there. Right. Or ask them just a quick question that you feel like is going to help you in life. Don't sit there like, yeah, go up there and get your picture, get your autograph and stuff, but ask them, how did you get there, man? Because those people that are all going to be at your show, dude, are very highly successful people. And they're fucking motivators, dude, and they're good people, man, and they're changing the world. You know?
There's people that have been on television, movies, etc., high up there in the not just social media, but in the real world, and there's people that are extremely motivating in the social mediation of the world, and then there's people that just started coming to VidCon 2 to 3 years ago that bought a booth with 500 followers on a YouTube channel. Now they are speaking at VidCon because they've created a platform of monetization and a way of living by owning a gym. They open up their own gym, they have their own clothing line, they have supplements, and they had 500 followers 2 years ago. Now they have 500,000 followers. So you can do that.
Yeah, and again, if they can do it, you can do it too.
Absolutely.
But that doesn't mean that you have to go like, oh, well, I'm going to start a clothing line, or I'm going to start a supplement line. No, take their business model, but start something that you like, something that you enjoy. It doesn't have to be a clothing line. It doesn't have to be a supplement line. Like, just take maybe a little bit of their business model and apply it to something else. Dude, make fucking knives. I mean, knives are fucking in right now. Those are cool as shit. And dude, start making your own knife. If you're good at the metal and stuff like that, make a fucking knife company, dude. People will buy that stuff. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be, don't go to these, like the VidCon and think like, okay, I'm gonna be this person, I'm just gonna work out all the time, I'm gonna start my own supplement line, I'm gonna start a clothing line. No, go out there and just create something that you're passionate about. Don't be like, oh, well, all these clothing lines are being successful, they're doing good, I'm gonna do that. No, because you know what? You're probably not gonna do good. You know what I mean? Or you might
hate to hear that.
I hate to. I know
it's almost the truth. Though.
It is the truth.
You gotta have so much behind you and so much going forward.
And you have to be passionate about it. And if you're not passionate about a clothing line or a supplement line, you're not gonna go in. Just because you start a supplement line or start a clothing line, anybody can do that. Anybody can start anything, but it's about how much passion and the way you market it and what you stand by it and what your company stands for and
All
how
that.
quality, there's so much.
All of that and then some.
Yeah.
All that and then some.